There we go. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, February 27th of 2026. If you're new to the channel or watching this in the live playback, what we do on this channel is we cover the overall health, wellness. Let me start that over. What we do on this channel is we cover the overall wellness of the crypto market. We're going to look at who's doing well, who's doing bad. Then we move on to silver and gold. We're going to look at the Japanese bond market. We'll look at oil. We'll look at the US stock market. What we're trying to do here is find out where things are moving in the market so that we can be best positioned. We'll then look at relevant news going on in the world. Sometimes it'll be crypto news. Sometimes it'll be geopolitically related, as they all seem to be intertwined. So good morning with everyone. Let me say good morning to those in the chat, and then we're going to dive straight in. So good morning, Steph. Good morning, Mill. And good morning, Scorpio. A lot of cool things happened last night. I it all down. Ripple had their event in Australia. I'd like to cover that off, but I probably don't have the bandwidth to do it in today's stream, as I actually do have to go watch some of the footage myself to see what I think about all of it. But to hit some of the cliff notes, at least for Flare, you can officially mint XRP on Uphold now. I will be doing a video on that soon. I don't currently have Uphold, so I'm probably going to get an Uphold account and try it out. I'm already minting my XRP through the main platform, so this would basically just be something I do for demonstration purposes. I think it's a really great thing for Flare holders that now Uphold has that XRP integration. Some interesting questions people have asked. I'll cover that off before we hit the prices here. People are asking, do I still need a Flare token to mint XRP on Uphold? The answer is not for the end user. So a Flare token is still involved in the process. It just shows up in the fees category for the end user. So all of the back-end things when it comes to minting XRP that requires the Flare, it's going to be taken care of by the smart accounts. And so the end user that only holds XRP, they're never going to notice anything going on in the background. It's just going to work very seamlessly. And this is already live, by the way. So what's very cool about this, and we'll do more Flare specific details after the wellness check. What's very cool about this is it's already live. People are minting XRP in real time, and quite a lot has been minted. For now, let's just cover off the market. I had to take a personal day yesterday, so we were not able to stream. In the past 48 hours, as you can probably guess, a lot of the overall growth in the market kind of got, wishy-washy, washed out. So starting out with Bitcoin, we can see at least over a 1 week's period, we're looking pretty nice on Wednesday. Now it's Friday, and this is a common thing in crypto. In fact, you don't even have to look further than a week to see you make a good forward gain and you lose all of it. And that's really been the theme of the past month. So we're still in this bear market territory. I've been thinking we're probably going to be in it for a while. The more this continues, the more I start to think we might see 4 or 5% spikes in a day just for it to get slammed back down. I do believe there's market manipulation going on. There are some threads that we can pull at that. Binance does not seem to be operating in good faith. If you're not aware, with Binance, they have these trading bots that are, they're algorithm based, so they're not even actual people trading, it's bots. Anytime something seems to start moving up, they start doing these crazy sell orders to bring the price back down. I'm almost starting to wonder if we're starting to get into, is what's going on there exactly legal? I think if the Clarity Act was live, if that was passed, I don't think they'd be able to be doing what they're doing now. Until there's legal clarity, I don't know that there's anything that can be done about this, but there definitely seems to be some manipulation coming from the Binance space. So I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer, so take everything I just said with a grain of salt. But it is my opinion that there seems to be foul play going on, coming from Binance. So that is why when people say, "Why is it that things aren't going up? What's going on here?" That's my theory. I'm not saying that's a fact, but it's something that I do believe is going on. I'm going to say good morning to those who just jumped in. Good morning, GK. Good morning, Steve. Lots of cool stuff. I'll be shooting some videos over the weekend to try to cover off some of the news. Steve, I know you had a video request. A great idea, by the way. I'm going to do some research on that later this weekend. We just had a lot happen in the past 48 hours as far as Flare and Ripple are concerned. So a lot of moving pieces. XRP's back up to, oh wow, okay, my screen was out of date. It showed 145 on the screen. Maybe I just need to do a whole refresh and see where we're at. Okay, so my screen said 145. Right now it's at 135. So like I was saying, all the forward progress we have is wiped out. In fact, right now XRP is currently moving down as we stream. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to mute it for now. It may continue ringing on my other machine. No, it looks like it stopped. So we're currently moving down as we speak. It does seem to be an aggressive slide. I've been saying this for months now. Maybe it's the greedy side of me, but because I know where all of this is going, when I see these slides like this, I'm almost kind of like, in a weird selfish way, I'm kind of hoping that it stays down for a while so that, we can accumulate a lot more. Because $1.35 XRP, almost 75% down from its all-time high of 350. And that's really a big deal. This is like being able to hop into a time machine, go back to 2023, or really more like 2022. I guess those levels are actually even lower than it is now, but this is like being able to go to a time before December of 2024 and continue stacking XRP. And we never really got to buy XRP at the $1.30 range. If you look at this chart, and I'll tighten it up so that it's easier to look at. We really went from about 50 cents to 250 in a matter of 3 weeks. So really the XRP community is sort of divided between those that bought before this and those that bought after. Now I have to imagine there's a lot of people out there that are on the bought after side of this category. I was buying XRP a little bit in 2024, but I wasn't taking it very seriously until I saw this happen. So even for me, I would say that I've really started getting into XRP full time, taking it very serious after this event here. I'm looking at this right now and it's like, okay, this is a second chance to hunker down, take things serious, and really start stacking. For only $13,000 and some change, you could, in theory, buy 10,000 XRP right now, all in. You could not say that even a year ago. A year ago, XRP would have been around 250. You guys, that's almost double the price. So I'm looking at this as just an all-time tremendous buying opportunity. I'm really actually pretty excited about this. The selfish side of me is thinking maybe if we could stay down here just a little bit longer, this would be a great time to accumulate because we all know where this is going. So, H-bar back to 10 cents. Sorry, I had to take my coffee sip. It was probably, that one felt like it was a loud one. You guys let me know. H-bar back to 10 cents. H-bar moves basically the same as XRP and Flare. I was having a conversation with Iman yesterday, who's a member on this channel, and we both came to the conclusion, I think this is a good point. H-bar, by the way, we'll talk about the DeFi stuff here in a minute. H-bar and Flare, if they move in similar growth patterns, right now you can get between 8 and 12% yield on your Flare. H-bar, you're basically only getting 2.5%. So if both of them are going to appreciate at the same proportions, I'm looking at Flare and I'm thinking, as much as I like H-bar, I might say that Flare is the better deal right now, because that 8% reward on your delegation and wrapping, staking, whatever you end up doing with your Flare, it's going to outpace what you're getting from H-bar at 2.5%. Now, I'll be doing both. And once I get through the recap, I'll actually dive into some of the details. I know some of you guys are interested to see it. I'm thinking right now that Flare might be in a situation where I almost don't really want to be buying anything else, even Quant, as much as I like Quant. I'm just looking at Flare, and I'm having a hard time right now. Whenever I'm looking at something else, I feel like it's pulling me away from Flare, which is just a really great thing to say about Flare. I mean, it says a lot when I'm starting to look at things as a opportunity cost of, oh, if I buy this, I'm not getting more Flare. I used to feel that way about XRP. Now I feel that way about Flare, and it really just goes to show just how far the Flare network has come. So that's a tremendous well done to those guys. Black Gold says he's not in the Discord yet. I will post the Discord link. Feel free to hop in if you're able to. We've been having really good discussions in there. By the way, this is a good time to say on the Discord, please do not share links that are not to social media. I'm trying to be lenient with you guys, but you know, I do have to. I'm running a channel here. It's enough to be making videos and streaming, and then having to babysit the Discord it's stretching me on my bandwidth. Just please don't post links directly to anything but social media posts. If you found something that you want people to get involved, or I don't even want to say get involved, I don't want to even take it that far. If you've got something you want people to look into, just say, I've looked into this. You can find it on Google. I really don't like the idea of people just posting links to different dApps or different websites in my Discord. So please be respectful of that. And then this goes without saying, but don't ask for wallet addresses. I would ask that you don't post your own. It does make people uncomfortable. So yes, I know that you can't get into a wallet without the seed phrase, but there are certain people that are just joining crypto for the first time, and when they see wallet addresses, it makes them nervous. So just please don't do it. But to that end, I do think Black Gold had a comment. So Black Gold, it's not that they're scammers. It's just an etiquette thing. No one's been scammed on the channel, so I hope you're not interpreting it that way. It's just a behavioral thing. So I'm looking at one of your previous comments that you were using the Xamin FXRP. I don't have Xamin, so I'm going to have to look into it. I don't have Xamin or Uphold. So I got some homework cut out for me over the weekend. But just to put a button on top, there's no scamming going on in the Discord. It's just, we have to be cognizant of the rules, and some people have it's a learning experience. Let's put it that way. But I do highly recommend joining it, because you'll be able to get access to me directly, even when I'm not streaming. I'm in there answering questions, posting my findings, and some of the other members are out there doing the same as well. So it's a really good opportunity for some crowdsourced information. So I'm going to jump over to the other markets real quick. We've looked at crypto. I want to look at silver and gold. It looks like the longs that we are expecting to hit, silver's continuing to rise. It doesn't look like, well, I guess you could say it's shot up a decent amount in the past 5 days. I guess I was expecting it maybe to go a little bit faster, but we're still looking at Actually, this is pretty good. So on Wednesday, we were talking about the long contracts expiring on the 26th, which meant that a certain amount of silver was going to have to get fulfilled for delivery. It does look like there's been some of that going on, maybe not as much as I originally thought it would, but I guess you'd be the judge. Is a 6% boost pretty good? I guess actually that is pretty good. Maybe I was getting a little ahead of myself thinking it'd be higher, but 6% is pretty solid. And then of course on a 5-day moving average, it's up 19%. So that's actually pretty good. There's going to be more long contracts that expire in the very near future, so that means more silver to get delivered. We could still see silver actually get back up to its all-time highs. I believe it was 120. We could see it go through this and more. I'm not currently buying silver because I would only want to actually own the physical asset, and I don't think that that's very easy to accomplish right now. The time to have bought silver and gold would have been a couple years ago. I just wasn't buying silver and gold back then. So for me, this is a missed opportunity. But I'm very happy for those of you guys out there that do have physical gold and silver. I think you guys are going to be very happy in the near future. It looks like this is going to continue going upward. I just think that the people holding paper are actually going to find themselves getting slaughtered here. Paper silver, paper gold, you might find yourself in a situation where they're not actually letting you cash out. This has happened before on other exchanges. If they don't have the actual silver to fulfill these orders, then they'll basically just freeze the market, which means you won't be able to pull your money out. It's happened in markets before. It's a real ugly mess. Stock market has moved down a little bit today. Nothing too crazy. I guess it is down 0.25%. So you'd be the judge if that's a big move or not. But in general, it's been a pretty slow 6 months for the stock market. Not a lot has moved here. This would usually kind of indicate to me we've probably got a bear market coming in terms of the stock market. I have other reasons for thinking that's going to be true as well. I'm going to look at the price of oil real fast. So oil in Japan is steadily rising still. If this war in the Middle East does kick off, I think this is going to rapidly increase in conjunction with the Japanese government 10-year bonds going to 2.1%. Still a little flat on the week. If we see this continue to rise, there's a very good chance that XRP has its reverse carry trade. And then, as you guys know, the story goes, all of that will be accelerating to the upside. So I'm going to jump over. I know you guys like the DeFi stuff, so we're going to jump into it a little bit early today. I'm at the end of the month for my first month on the Flare mini series, which I'm very excited about. I'll be making that video on Sunday. We've only got 1 day left of February. That'll be tomorrow, which is a Saturday. So I'll log these and then I'll start filming that video. My staked reward, a little shorter than I was expecting. I wonder if there are some... I'm trying to figure this one out because 198 is a little shy of the, I believe on Catalytica, it said I'm supposed to be getting close to 14%. 198 only came out to roughly 9%. So if I take 198 and divide that by 50,000, and then I multiply that by 24 because they pay out every 2 weeks, and then multiply that by 100 to get my percent, this thing comes out to 9.5, which I think is kind of small, you guys. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, it might not be 24 payment. It might be 26 if it is actually bi-weekly. So let me start that over because there's actually 26 weeks in a year. Which would actually kind of make this thing a little bit worse. So we'll keep monitoring this one. Now, it is locked up, so there's not a whole lot that I can do to make that better. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe I had my thinking backwards. Maybe 10.5%'s not too bad. It's still a lot lower than the 14% that is on the Catalytica site, but we'll continue monitoring this. I was really hoping this would be closer to 12 or 13%, but I suppose a 10% reward is actually pretty solid. So we got that one. We'll keep monitoring this. I'm hoping that it's a little bit bigger, maybe around 220 for the next payout. But nonetheless, you can see the delegation rewards are pretty consistent at around 54 to 55 every 3.5 days. That's actually pretty solid. I like that. With the delegation, you got a lot more flexibility. You can take them in, take them out whenever you like, whereas staking is locked for the duration of the contract that you decided. Now, you have to have it in for a minimum of 2 weeks. You can go longer. I went 6 months, so one way or another, these are locked in. I can't move them no matter what. Wrapped Flare, I could decide to move it around if I wanted to. I'm happy with this delegation reward, so I'm going to keep it put where it is. Now, as far as FXRP goes, I'm going to be getting a lot more Mystic rewards because, unfortunately, the Firelight Go Live got delayed to March 18th. That's an entire 3 weeks away. I'm a little disappointed by that, but hey, at least now we have an official Phase 2 launch date. At least we know, okay, March 18th, that is the official day. We were told the week of the 23rd of February is when the caps would raise. There wasn't ever a specific day given, and now here we are. There's, it's delayed. So a little disappointed. I did not want to just sit on those FXRP and not do anything with them. So I put the 700 that I minted into Mystic. You can see here, I was originally going to go 1,000 and 1,000. Not able to do that anymore. I don't see any reason to have 700 FXRP just sitting there doing nothing. So I put them into Mystic. We should start to see some pretty significant acceleration out of my Mystic rewards. It's not too crazy. It's about 3.5%, but it's still more than nothing. So I'm actually happy about that for now. And I'm going to hop over to Mystic. We can take a quick look at it. This is my dashboard. I'm sorry, I got a little bit of the hiccups here. This thing moves around a lot, the APY, so it doesn't seem like, it might be 2.5% today. There's been times when it's much higher than that. There's been times where it gets up to 4, up to 5. So this target seems to move around quite a lot. Oops. I hit refresh and there we go. So, I'm just letting this thing ride. In a perfect world, I'd like to see the rewards maybe a little bit more static. That way, it's kind of hard to plan around something going from 2.5% to 5%, then back down to 2. But since I'm just data collecting for now, I'll take whatever I can get from this. Again, if your XRP is just sitting in a wallet, even a 2.5% reward is going to do more for you than nothing. The question you had to ask yourself, and Mills asked me this, I think it's a good question to be asking, is 2.5% worth the risk of moving an asset out of a cold wallet that is otherwise 100% secure? So the big reason why I'm doing this data collecting is to see, does this in fact work as good as we think that it will, and can I get my rewards? Can I move them back to my wallet, and can I prove that no assets were lost over the span of 6 months? If I can answer yes to that, then I might be able to say, well, it's 100% safe, so there's no opportunity cost of moving it out of the cold wallet and getting this thing in there. Currently, as it stands, I'm not able to say that yet. These have only been out for a few weeks, and in some cases, in Firelight's case, since December. I need to see that this thing has an end-to-end process that you can put it in and get it out successfully before I can make any determination. But I would agree with Mill that 2.5% is it's a lot of risk for a relatively small reward. So let's just keep watching this and see if the APY goes back up. It was higher earlier this week. Now it's down to 2.6. So I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, is this going to kind of stay lower as more and more XRP gets put into the system, or are we going to see it move back up? I don't really know what the mechanisms are that would move this. So for now, basically all we can really do is just kind of spectate and we're along for the ride, so to speak. I had to reiterate, we are so early in this crypto space that in a lot of cases, we are almost like live beta testers. So do with that information what you will, but we might not see the actual benefit or the real rewards out of this for a couple of years yet. But because we're at the forefront of this, because we're the ones doing this, we'll be first in line when things really do go live and start ramping up. We're already going to be integrated, whereas people are going to be slowly trickling in. We'll already be here. So I do think it's good that we're early. I'd like to see these numbers be higher, though, if I'm being honest. As of right now, the thing I'm most happy with would probably be my Flare staking. That seems to be the one where I'm able to consistently get a reward that I think is substantial enough to really qualify for what it is we're trying to accomplish here. And also wrapping and delegating. So far, I would probably say wrapping, staking, and even offering up collateral has been pretty decent. I guess I'd like to see a little more output out of Mystic, and I really want to know what's going on with Firelight because it's been out since December, and we still don't know what the points do. In the meantime, I'm going to be patient and just see how this thing rides out, but this is something I'd like to kind of get some more information on. And I think a lot of you guys here would like that too. I'm going to jump over to Hashpack because now I'm also doing this. I might need to sign in real quick. So I'm going to hide my password. I know you guys can't see it, but even if you could see how many characters it is, it's just one of those things. So here's my stake. Look, I've got 5 on here. And maybe I'm being overly cautious for a wallet that only has 5 HBAR on it. I'm doing this on my primary wallet as well. I don't mind that you guys see the wallet address on a wallet that has 5, what you may calls it, 5, I'm brain farting right now. 5 tokens, there we go. But my primary wallet, like my real wallet, is synced up to this as well, the one that actually has the funds that I care about. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna not put that on here. I like doing this stuff, but at the end of the day, I gotta keep myself protected. Hey, if I lose 5 HBAR from this YouTube channel, then so be it. 5 HBAR right now, that's a couple gumballs. If I were to lose my real assets, I'd be pretty upset. So, I mean, for our purposes, this is good enough. You can see that I've got pending rewards. I've got quite literally fractions of a fraction of an HBAR. But this is also around 2.2 to 2.5%. Now, I guess I could just tell you some of the values. I'm going to look at it right now on my Hashpack app. So my main wallet, I've got at least 1 HBAR coming to me here. Let me see if I can show this to you guys without the wallet appearing, or else that would kind of defeat the whole purpose. Does the wallet show up anywhere here? It does not. Maybe you guys just take my word for it, but right now I'm looking at my phone. I see that I've got 0.8 H bar as pending. So I've been in this for about 48 hours. We'll see. I think the rewards for Hashpack are daily. So there's a 48-hour like grace period where nothing happens. And then I do believe after that, you're going to get a daily reward out of Hashpack. So we'll keep an eye on this. Again, if your funds are sitting on a cold wallet not doing anything, this could be there could be some value to, hey, it's 2.5%. I know that's not much, but it's more than zero. And Hashpack, for what it's worth, is fully endorsed by the Hedera Foundation. So it should be understood that Hashpack's not exactly Hedera, but it has been endorsed by Hedera. So there's a little distinction there. The Flare network is Flare. That's one more thing, in my opinion, going for Flare is that the DeFi is built on chain. It's built into the network. It's all in one platform. Whereas with Hashpack, you've got to at least down this Hashpack wallet, which means you have to have a new wallet generated and you have to have these plugins. Not a big deal, but it's one more hoop to jump through. Whereas with Flare, it's all there right on the site. So again, not a big deal, but right now I would say that Flare's a little bit edged ahead in my opinion. I'm thinking about that. We addressed it here a second ago, but even if you look in the top left-hand corner of the screen, Flare and HBAR seem to really be moving hand in hand lately. So if they're going to have the same growth patterns, I'm at the position right now, I'm thinking maybe 8% on my Flare is better than my 2.5% on my HBAR. I guess the selling factor for buying HBAR would be that, and I'll just show you guys the nodes so you can kind of see it. HBAR has a lot more mainstream support going for it. So with HBAR, you can stake with LG, right, the cell phone company. Or really, you should say the cell phone tower company. Anyways, you got LG, you've got Google. There's Tata. They're a very big IT company. There's IBM. Some other ones you guys might recognize down here. They got Chainlink Labs. That's one. Here we go. We got Ubisoft. Speaking of cell phone towers, you play a Ubisoft game. The entire game is going around a map, activating cell phone towers, so you get more mini games and quests to complete. Very boring. But anyways, the point being, HBAR has a little bit more mainstream support than Flare does, at least right now. So that could be an argument to be made of just buying the HBAR token regardless of the staking opportunity. You'd be basically doing this only if you believed that HBAR will grow proportionately faster than Flare. As of right now, I'm not sure that that's going to happen. I'm looking at the Flare charts, and I'll duplicate these sessions so that we can pop back and forth between the two. But if we look at least a 1-year graph of both assets, so I'm going to switch back and forth. They might not be 100% identical, but would you guys watching the stream agree that these two projects look to be moving basically like 95% the same? That's just where my head is at right now. They're moving the same, but Flare has an additional, I mean, in theory, if you pick the right FTSO, you might be getting an extra 10% on your staking yield out of this. So I'm looking at this, it's like, well, I guess you have to ask the question, is Hedera going to pull ahead based on all of the official partnerships it has? But then a counter argument to that could be, is Flare going to be pulling ahead because it's basically joined at the hip with XRP now? I think it's a very interesting debate, and I'd actually love to hear people's opinions coming at all different angles on this. Because if I in theory found $100 on the sidewalk and I had to buy one or the other, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. You could go all in on Flare, you could go all in an H bar, you could divide it up, 70-30, 60-40. The right answer may not be as obvious as we think. So I think it's a very interesting thing to think about. In either case, if you're buying either one, you're probably going to do all right. This would really just be for min-maxing. I found this site here. This is the H-bar rich list. I know some people seem to like, or some people don't like when I look at the rich list. Some people do. It seems very polarizing. Hey, look, I just like to look at this stuff. The world is a competition. But anyways, if you look at this, something that's interesting about H-bar, it takes a lot more money to get into the top 1% of H-bar than XRP or Flare. You'd need to have 1 million H-bar to be in the top 1%. That's pretty substantial considering, well, I guess XRP you would also need 46,000. So maybe XRP is still ahead in terms of how much capital you need up front. But 1 million H-bar is something around $100,000. So that's no small amount of money. To be in the top 1% for Flare, let me see which tab this one's on. You would only need about 2 million Flare, would be around $18,000 right now. So if this kind of stuff mattered to you, which I really don't think it matters that much, but I think it's fun, and so I do it anyways. Despite every time I do a rich list video, there's always like 4 or 5 comments of people whining like, "This is not what I did." I don't care. You don't play sports to just have fun. You play to win. Anyways, I don't have to get too deep on that. I just think it's interesting for Flare. You could be a top 1% holder with a lot less capital than with H-bar or XRP. By the way, I know that we were looking at this earlier this week and had some issues with it. I didn't say anything. This has already been fixed. Earlier this week, the whale category, the total balance is showing up as 120 billion Flare. Now, that caught a lot of our attention. We thought maybe there's something wrong with this site. Well, now it's down to 63 billion, which would make sense because if you tally that up with the remainder of the different brackets, doing some napkin math here, that should add up somewhere around 85 to 90 billion because that's how much is currently in circulation. Now, we don't know the exact number in circulation, but I do think it's somewhere between 85 and 90 billion. There's something like 105 billion total supply, but some of that is locked up, so I have to be aware of that. Oh, in fact, here's a top ribbon. I'm just seeing it now. Circulating supply is 85 billion. The total cap, I don't know if it's going to have it on here, but it's something like 105 billion. There is built-in inflation with Flare, so just kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, so this is fixed. It's back to normal. Blue whale, I don't think anyone's trying to get into the blue whale. There's 91 holders. This is going to be 100 million Flare or more. That's an insane amount. I bet most of that is probably the Flare network and some of the major FTSOs. Maybe a majority of the FTSOs, actually, now that I think about it. Getting into this tiger shark category is kind of my goal. That would be the 5 to 10 million. Definitely nowhere close to that. But it is a goal. We talked about it a little bit on the Discord. I plan on buying as much crypto as I possibly can while it's at the prices it currently is. I don't think that the prices you're seeing in the top left corner of this screen are going to last forever. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but there will come a time when Flare will no longer be under a penny. We will no longer have a 10-cent H bar. We'll no longer have a $1.35 XRP. So right now it's like all hands are on deck. That's what I'm doing, not financial advice. But when I'm looking at these prices, I'm thinking, geez, man, if there was ever a time in my life that I could do something that could set me up for quite literally the rest of my entire existence on this earth, possibly even my kids and grandkids. My great-grandkids will probably be screwed because I'm sure my grandkids are going to have all kinds of problems, and you know, I'll be one of them old guys at the pool watching my kids run around being terrible, and it happens to everyone who makes really large sums of money. But hey, at least I can be good. And maybe I'll have my kids live in like the Arctic mountains for a couple of years and be like, I need you guys to develop the brain mentally to be able to handle the kind of wealth I'm passing down to you, like Batman style, so that I don't have a bunch of degen grandkids. But at least I'm going to be good. Not financial advice. I'm buying as much of this stuff as I possibly can. So really, that's my top 3 for now. Quant's like a side project. I know Quant is a really big deal. But man, you start to spread yourself a little bit thin in this space. It's like you pick 3 or 4 assets, it's going to be real hard to put money into a 5th one. Even if there's going to be things out there that you know are going to do well. Like, I know Stellar is going to do well. I know XDC is going to do well. I know Chainlink's going to do well. So at some point you got to say, all right, these are my boys. I'm picking them. And it's kind of like drafting players for like an NHL team. It's like I can't draft the entire league. I got to pick my players and ride with what I got. Black Gold asks if there's a quant rich list. Let's see. That's interesting. I'd have to imagine most of these do have one. If you kind of dig through, let's see what this one says. Coin lore top 100. I mean, that's cool, but do you have like more than 100? So it seems like the number one highest balance for Quant is just a casual 9.5 million. I'm going to assume that's probably the developer wallet. Some people get all in a tizzy over this kind of stuff, but what do you not expect the developers to make money? I mean, they're only making the future of finance. I'm looking at this thing up, down. It looks a little different from the rich lists we're used to. But it does look like if you wanted to be in the top 1% for Quant, there's no way that's right. Hold on. This has to be a percentage of total value, not a percent holder. Because this right here says 600,000 Quant, which would be like multiple millions of dollars. Or maybe even billions. I don't think Quant's a $1 billion asset yet. If I'm reading this right, if you were to have oh, this rich list isn't as easy to look at as the other ones. Probably would just want to have a whole bunch. Let's see if there's other stuff here. Oh, this might be it. Oh, it's some guy's video. Man, what is with all of these? I don't know. Maybe this is something I could kind of take a look at later. Not as easy to find the quant rich list as the other coins. Oh, look at these are the kind of thumbnails I don't want to make. You've had years to buy quant. No one's coming to save you. It just seems so negative, you know. It's just you're never gonna see that kind of thumbnail from me. I'm not gonna be making thumbnails like, why weren't you buying this thing when I told you to, YouTube watcher? It's like these guys need to get a grip, man. I don't really like most other content creators, if I'm being honest with you guys. But that's just a personal opinion. Yeah, when it comes to YouTube, I have a golden rule. No stupid faces for my thumbnails. So you guys probably already know some of the people I'm referring to without me even having to say their channel names. I'm not gonna have my mouth hanging wide open like I'm taking the short bus to school. I'm never gonna do that in a thumbnail. I feel that self-deprecation is shameful. I won't do it. I won't put price predictions in a thumbnail. I just won't do it. You will never see a $10,000 XRP tagline in any of my thumbnails unless it's an April Fool's video, which I've been thinking about doing, which could be kind of fun. But in general, I wouldn't do that. And then what else would I not do? I try to keep my actual titles. Like, I'm not here to get a million views. It's not. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I'd rather have good viewers than a lot of viewers. So that's just kind of my perspective. That means you guys are good viewers, by the way. Steph says, Andrew, I saw XRP last time had 5 straight red months, October through November 2016. March to the end of the year went up 60,000%. Well, if that happens, I will be somewhere warm, doing very hedonistic things, getting it out of my system while I'm young. I'm probably good on Miami, but I think I could be found in Tampa, Florida, if things play out a certain way. Or I might go back over there to the Middle East and hang out with I actually have a friend who really does live in Qatar. So I might go out there, and if we get a 60,000% year, I might not. You guys might see me doing videos with sunglasses on for a while, and that's not to be funny. That's a serious statement. But yeah, I've seen stuff like that. Let's actually pull it up. Ooh, what's going on, gangsta? Sorry if I missed the good mornings to some of you guys. Let's just see if Bitcoin monthly charts, because this is I've seen this too. I know what you're talking about. I don't know where to find these. I usually just go to Google Image. But these sometimes are like, it doesn't always give me what I want. Steph, if you know the right spot to get some of these box, I know what you're talking about. I know it's these kind of charts right here, but I don't know where to like actually find these without, like, you see them posted in articles, but it's like, how do I just get this chart myself so that I don't have to go through an article? Maybe we find it together. I mean, let's just pop over to CoinMarketCap and see if they got some stuff. And if any of you guys know, just let me know in the chat, and then we'll we'll jump to it because I do want to talk about those charts. I've seen them and I think they're very telling. Here's the Bitcoin rainbow. We are in actually, I mean, that's pretty interesting. If I'm looking at this right, I don't know if you guys can see it on my screen very well. Bitcoin is like just barely outside the rainbow right now. Let's see, the Bitcoin rainbow chart uses a logarithmic growth curve with color bands to illustrate market sentiment and highlight potential buyer sell zones, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, this is a no-brainer. I mean, we don't buy Bitcoin anymore, or at least I don't. I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. But wow, look at this, you guys. Talk about a buy zone. I'm not going to repeat what I just read in the chart or chat there, but I can't say that I disagree. I'm not buying Bitcoin, but if we know that all the altcoins are kind of held hostage by Bitcoin, I'm looking at this blue bar down here. It's like, well, dude, obviously this thing is going to be, I mean, a stupid chart doesn't really mean much, but I'm looking at this thinking like, yeah, we got some serious growth coming. And I think this rainbow chart, maybe you guys can't see it on your screen. It might be too small, but it has the halving cycles, not down to the date. But I do believe the next halving cycle for Bitcoin is in 2028. Let me just check that one out. I think it's 2028, but the next one should be April 17th of 2028. So I mean, we're like halfway. We're halfway to it. I know we've talked on this channel and some of us have talked privately about why Bitcoin is not a good deal anymore. Don't need to get too much into that right now, but there's something to be said, you guys. Bitcoin is like the Coca-Cola of crypto. People that have no idea about crypto are the types of people buying Bitcoin. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but it's like, don't underestimate the power of millions of people buying something that they don't understand. I know that we don't believe in Bitcoin here, but I actually do think Bitcoin's price is going to shoot back up. That doesn't mean I believe in it, so just kind of take that with a grain of salt. And of course, when we flip Bitcoin in terms of the altcoins, you know, obviously we're going to be doing way better than the people that bought Bitcoin, but I still see a future where Bitcoin goes back into the 200, or it goes to the 200s for the first time, I guess you should say. If we look at the chart here, the Bitcoin always seems to hit the red zone maybe like a year or so or two after the halving's complete. At least it worked that way in the beginning. I mean, the bull run for Bitcoin could happen probably in the next 6 months, just going off of chart data alone. I'd like to see those box charts, though, that we were talking about, Steph. If you know where to find those. You know, you'll see them get posted on Twitter. You'll see them in news articles. I don't know where you go to actually get it. I'm just kind of scanning the website here to see if I can find anything that would be that. Is there anything here? Let's see if we can do Bitcoin box chart. Okay, no, that's not it. Bitcoin monthly box. It's like all we gotta do is find it one time. Is this it? Ah, there we go. Kind of looks ugly, but this works. All right, so this is on charts.bitbo.io. Is that what we're working with? Oh, I wish we could like, it just doesn't look good. It looks ugly. Maybe that doesn't really matter. So Bitcoin was red in October, November, December, and February. I think it's a little too late for this one to change. The last time there were 5 red months in a row, I think Steph was saying it was... Oh, you were talking about XRP or Bitcoin for your 5 red months. I can't remember. Well, here we go. We got 2018. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is 6 red months. So in 2018 to 2019, Bitcoin had 6 red months in a row, followed by 3 green months, which, by the way, one of them was a 60% month. Pretty nuts. That's 60% on top of a 30% month, which is actually pretty bonkers because that means that it was 60% of this 30% growth, which means this would be over 100% in that time period, just to finish out with a 26% growth on top of that. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see if we can find one of these for XRP. If it's, I want to see if there's a better looking chart though. Yeah, this looks even better. Okay. Oh, okay. We are going to save this to the favorites bar. We're going to call this Box Charts website. Now let's see if they got one for XRP. If they do, this is the site. I'll probably use this for videos. I want to see that box chart. Where do I go for the box? If I was a box chart, where would I be? Okay, let's see. Gotta be smarter than a... Oh, is this just their home page? They might only have this thing for Bitcoin. Oh, wait, no. Oh, they only have it for Bitcoin and ETH. Come on. Come on, that's lame. I was hoping they'd have it for XRP. All right, so that's CoinGlass. Let's just see if Bitbo had one for... This is for Bitcoin still, I think. It better be. Yeah, okay, this is Bitcoin. White in Vermont asks, how's the H-bar staking going? Good. We covered that one off a little bit earlier today. I'm getting 2.5%. I think it's still up on my screen. I'll just show it to you real quick. It's good. I'll be honest, I think 2.5% is kind of low, but it's more than 0, so I'll take what I can get for now. But it is something I think about when I'm looking at Flare and H-bar. If I can only pick one coin, which obviously we can do better. We don't have to pick one coin, but I'm just saying Flare is getting me 10% right now, and H-bar is getting me 2.5. So it's definitely something for me to be thinking about. So I guess at this point in time, I'd say if you're going to be buying HBAR, it's because you believe in the project, which I do. It's just that I also believe in the Flare project, and they've got a way higher, they've got a way higher yield. Now I'm trying to get this box chart. I guess we just click on links until one of them works or has what we want. Maybe this one will have it. Oh, please have it. Please be the boxes. Please be the boxes. Oh, great! It's literally a blank. Annoying. Oh well. Yeah, it was White saying, sorry guys, I can't find the monthly chart for XRP, but like White's saying, if you're gonna get, I mean, 2.5% is still free coins, so it's like, once I'm in it long enough to be able to say whether or not I actually endorse it, it's like, okay, we'll cross that bridge, but I mean, 2.5% is still more than zero. I'm not finding the thing I'm looking for, so I might have to give up on it. I'm trying to get an XRP monthly chart similar to the Bitcoin one, but I don't know where you get these charts. I see them in screenshots, but it's like this is a screenshot of the chart. I want to know where the chart's from, but whoever wrote this did not link it. So it's it is what it is. I'm looking to see if there's any hints. It could be a paid service. Sometimes they do that. I'm not saying this website in particular, but like this chart's from last year, so it doesn't do us any good. Okay, that one's from November. Where did these come from? I guess if I was savvy enough, I could just make it myself, but unfortunately, I'm not that guy. These are all Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. Ah, whatever. Okay, Steph says, Andrew, check my last comment about the reds. It wasn't boxes. It was just a normal chart he had. Much clearer to see it in his chart. Okay, on Mickle. Okay, let's try it out. Doing some research. This is what I do when you guys aren't watching. I just watch videos all day. So let's see. He's got. Wow, man. I'm just gonna keep my mother said, if you got nothing else to say, I wouldn't make that thumbnail, but
XRP's price chart just
I'm looking for the chart here. Okay, I didn't see a chart in that one. 2 days ago. There's 2 videos from 2 days ago.
something is felt
What I'm doing right now, by the way, is really bad for his channel analytics. Basically, the worst thing you can do to somebody is to start a video and then like not watch any of it, because YouTube's gonna see this and be like, Oh, this video must not be very good. But I mean, he doesn't need my views. He's got quite literally 10x the volume I get, so I'm sure he doesn't care. But I would like to see that chart. Do you remember the name of the video? That way I can go straight to the video. All right, Mill, I will give him a second chance. I just, there's certain thumbnails I just don't even click. If I see a thumbnail, if I don't like it, I don't even give it a chance. So maybe I'll give him a chance. See, this is a fine thumbnail. You know, you just smile for the camera and you just post. Just let the title tell people what the video is going to be about. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a word that starts with J and ends with jackass. Anyways, I can't find the chart. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels here, so we'll just kind of look at it later. Gangsta says, I'm telling you, bro, wear a suit and bring back the electrolyte curly hair and your channel will blow up. Dude, I go through hairstyles like crazy. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my hair on top's getting a little longer. I am quite literally, and I'll throw the full screen up. I'm going for a pompadour. I don't know if you guys know what a pompadour is, but like, it's kind of what I've already got, actually. It's looking pretty decent. So high and tight, military on the side, and you just let the top go as long as you can before it's like literally long hair. So think like 4-inch, 5-inch hair. Then like Johnny Bravo, I'm gonna get this thing like standing up like a ultimate crypto bro. But I need about another inch of volume. But you keep it high and tight, so it's like I got a little pimple, by the way. Well, it's like fighter jet, you know, like about to hop in the jet and save America. I won't say any more because I'm gonna get myself into trouble. I don't need the jet to leave the continental US to save America. Well, anyways. I had a couple Twitter links I had saved before I say anything that'll get my channel kicked off YouTube. Let's go to Twitter. Lots of cool stuff coming out of Hugo. His Twitter's been firing off all morning, by the way. Flare is the yield layer for XRP. I mean, all of us already knew that, but it's just cool to see all this stuff going on there. I have to watch what came out from this Ripple conference at some point. I mean, there's a lot of footage, but at the same time, you know, it can be kind of a lot to comb through all of it. So I'll probably have to spend my weekend watching this while yeah, XFixer on Twitter does hit hard. Sometimes I can't even interact with his tweets because I don't want people seeing the, you know, I gotta keep this thing PG-13. You know, you come to me for crypto news and then you see I'm reposting certain things that might be more personal beliefs that I have. It could turn some people off. But I don't necessarily ever disagree with XFixer's posts. This was cool. We might have actually. Oh no, this was. We didn't cover this one off yet. Let's watch this one.
That
watch
said,
it together.
you know,
This was a good one from
a reasonable.
This was a good one from Hugo.
That said, you know, I think a reasonable expectation is what I said before, which is, you know, I genuinely think we could get to 5 billion by the middle of 2026.
Yeah.
with a good tailwind, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the parties we're talking to. I also know the protocols we're building. I know, like, for instance, to give you a really good example, we are working with Zaman, which is one of the major wallets on the
Yep.
XRP ledger, to create a smart account that enables you to stake
Oh shoot,
directly
you guys. I'm not sharing my screen. Can you guys at least hear it? I guess it's
from
probably
XRP ledger into Firelight on Flare without
okay.
you having to
Not bad. Not bad, you guys.
touch the bridge. You don't have to interact with the bridge. You don't have to transact on Flare. You can just stake directly through what we call a smart account through Zaman. And that's in progress. I don't know when it will be delivered, but that's in progress. And Zaman has, as I understand it,
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm distracted by the look on Paul's face right now.
roughly 4 billion XRP
Mhm.
that is held through the Zaman wallet. So,
Hey, buddy.
that's about $12 billion, just that. And I think there's no reason that we wouldn't be able to pick up a reasonable amount of the assets that are used.
Marv, did you hear that? Hugo, so this is what he was saying. He was saying that XRP, Hugo was saying that if XRP gets 500 billion or 5 billion FXRP gets minted, buddy, that's going to be about 10%, or they'll see there's 65 billion XRP right now in circulation, so that means that if 5 billion of it gets adopted, that's like 8% or something like that. And that's real adoption, buddy. That's people actually buying XRP and using it for its intended purposes. And that's all retail, at least for now. Oh, hey, buddy. I'm sorry. Well, it's your fault for coming up here while I'm streaming and trying to get on my lap. You guys can't even see him. Oh, buddy. Hey. Just don't mess the cords up. All right? We'll go for a walk in like 20 minutes. I'm streaming. Could anyone even see you? Oh yeah, they could see you. Oh, that's cool. Hey, you're a good looking corgi. Had the corgi. I could pick him up. Marv, you want to come back up? I'll put the screen back on like the regular mode, and we'll just talk. I'll just teach you about crypto. Corgis. Well, corgis need crypto too. Because you guys just love playing fetch. You could fetch me the yield. Here, just pick your head up, buddy, so you can just pick your up. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, say hi. Say hi to all the people. Oh, yeah, there you go. So like I was saying, buddy, if FXRP gets up to 5 billion, that means that you're going to get a lot more chew toys. And you'll be able to, well, I mean, you're already kind of living it up. But your owner will be able to live it up, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty sick. All right, well, he doesn't want to be on. Who needs him? I didn't want you to be on camera anyway. Go away. I'll walk you in like 10 minutes, bud. We're going to wrap this thing up in like 15 minutes. Yeah, I love corgis, man. They're my favorite dog. I like corgis and golden retrievers. The thing about goldens, though, is they take up a lot of space. Like you got a corgi, you can travel with a corgi. I mean, like, not just about flying, but like, I can put my corgi in my truck and be anywhere. With a golden retriever, it's like you gotta have a bigger dog bed. You gotta have, bigger car. You gotta have, well, I don't know. You gotta have a bigger house, I guess. Like corgis is just very small, compact dogs. He's a good guy. Very good guy. He hangs out with me all the time. Aw. Darrell says, I miss my dog. I used to talk to him like a human, and he would just sit there and listen. Man, I talk to my dog like 2 hours a day. I talk to him quite literally in the same voice that I talk to my friends at like the bar. So he's basically just another dude. I'll go back and forth between doing the kid voice and talking to him like he's just another one of the guys. In a couple of years, Marvin will be a doggy in air. Dude, we could. You know what I've always thought would be cool is to make hockey jerseys with a corgi on them. I think that'd be sick. Maybe that's what I'll do with my crypto money. I'll start my own hockey team. I'm a big dog guy. Sometimes I fantasize about just having a ranch somewhere with like 40 dogs, and we're all just hanging out, like a bunch of corgis and golden retrievers and Australian shepherds. You got to have at least a couple German shepherds to keep the place safe, you know. I gotta, if I ever, Steph, I hope that what I'm about to say does not upset you. But if I ever go to England, man, I'm bringing a dog with me, because I don't know if I trust the streets of London without one. Ivan says, get John with Digital Dynamics to do a Marv NFT. Now that would be a cool idea. Let's see. I was supposed to be showing you guys tweets that I had saved. Let me see. Oh yeah, I mean, we already talked about this one. Firelight delayed till March 18th. So I moved all the FXRP that were gonna go to Firelight into Mystic for now. In the long run, I do believe in this project, but I'd be lying to you guys if I said this didn't kind of take a little wind out of my sails a little bit. Iman's correct, by the way. If you guys could like the stream, it'd be cool. We're at 20. A couple more likes should go a long way. Okay, great, Steph. We're on the same page. You can never be too careful on the internet. So I kind of have to imagine most people that are into crypto are coming at it from similar perspectives. Did I watch this one with you guys yet? Oh, this is about the Flare Smart accounts. I think we covered this. Yeah, we already covered this one. That's going to be on the... I guess I've been saying Zaman wrong this whole time. I don't think... Maybe it's not Zaman. Maybe it's Zaman. But either way, Zaman and Uphold has created opportunities to mint those FXRP without even leaving the app. Now, that's pretty cool. You guys know me. That's not going to matter for me too much. I'm already on Flare Assets doing it myself. But for those of us that want this thing to succeed, that's going to be a lot more people getting into this. By the way, 109 million FXRP has been minted. I think like 2 or 3 days ago it was only at 104. So that's pretty awesome. You guys, this thing could actually, I know I was talking to my dog there a second ago, but if we get a couple billion FXRP minted, I mean, that's quite literally the definition of adoption. Because this would be XRP that is officially being used for borrowing and lending and collateral pools, which is interesting. It's not the original use case. I mean, this still has nothing to do with the Nostro Vostro accounts, which is really the whole adoption premise for XRP to begin with is Nostro Vostro. So, I mean, this is cool stuff. And this will... If I'm reading the room correctly, the XRP used in F assets will not be used for cross-border payments. If I'm reading this the way I think I am. So this is basically XRP being taken off the table for those cross-border activities, which in its own regard causes a supply crunch. Since we're on that topic, let's go ahead and look at the ETFs real fast and see what our inflows are looking like. Darrell asks, that's interesting. I wonder if they're wrapping XRP and making FXRP will supply shock the original. Well, I do actually think that it might, at least in the terms of using this for cross-border settlements, which would be a great thing, right? So the lifetime inflows for the Bitwise XRP ETF, by the way, it gets like 3 million a day, maybe, you know, some days are more than others. But it's at 370 million. I do the Franklin Templeton one, which is XRPZ. I have this in my Roth IRA, so I don't have to pay any taxes on it. So let's see. I think Franklin Templeton might be the highest. Oh no, it's only at 330 million. Maybe Canaries is the one that's the highest then. This also gets, it's getting like a million a day, sometimes a little bit less. Let's see what we're looking at with Canary, which I think is XRPC. The Canary ETF. This one, okay, so this one has 417 million. So we're still at over $1 billion in inflows for the XRP ETFs. I think the important thing is, for the most part, we're not seeing a whole lot of exit. So this is money that continues going, and there's two other ETFs, but they're pretty small. They haven't had a whole lot of impact, so I'm not going to look them up. But as long as this continues to cause a supply crunch, you know, that could be a thing that helps the supply shock come along. But honestly, when the Bitcoin thing starts to turn around, guys, you know it's bad when social media influencers are turning on Bitcoin. That's how you kind of know you're at the bottom of the cycle. Is when popular streamers that don't know anything are making Bitcoin hit videos. And this is coming from someone who doesn't buy Bitcoin, by the way. It's the complete opposite of when you go to the barbecue and some guy is telling you what stocks to buy. Maybe you guys have heard that analogy, that when a stock gets brought up at a barbecue, that means it's time to sell. So I feel like we're at the bottom of the bear market right now. Even if we're not at like the specific dollar bottom, I still feel like we're currently in the trench, and we're going to be coming out of it probably in the next couple of months here. I just don't know the exact date. I would have to imagine we're probably going to have like a month or two left of these super low prices, and I think it will kind of climb out of it. Probably not right away, but like slowly over time. I would imagine by Q3 we're probably back to, you know, like $250 XRP, and then at some point you're just gonna wake up one day and it's $10. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. And then if the reverse carry trade happens, one day you wake up and it's at like 40 or 50 or like $750, and you're hanging out with Jake Claver. And anyways, when all that happens, all of these ETFs, everybody's gonna be buying this stuff like crazy. I hate to say it, but a lot of people wait for the news to tell them when it's okay to buy something. And so as soon as Jim Cramer starts saying to buy crypto again, there's going to be no shortage of people getting in. But it's good to pay attention to the news. I mean, Franklin Templeton is launching all these pro crypto funds and portfolios. It's like, come on. They wouldn't be doing that if they didn't know where all of this is really heading. Ivan says, because XRP is minted as FXRP, that gives it a smart contract ability. Now might tackle the Nostro Vostro better. I'm seeing both of these comments here. Yeah, so I do think that we've got some very, very good stuff coming. So I do think I'm probably going to start wrapping. I've got through basically most of the topics that I had for the week. I'm going to be doing more research over the weekend. I want to do a video. Steve, I believe you asked a pretty good question. I think it was you. There was an article with some counterpoints to Ripple that you asked if I could kind of debunk. So I'm going to kind of go through that and sort of prepare my statements. In the meantime, Mill here says, I'm going to try to create a new word for you. Yeah, let's hear it. And take it easy, Vermont, if you're still here and able to hear it. Let's see. I saw that Japan said that the Japanese reverse carry trade is not going to happen. Yieldability. I like that. That is a good token. That is a good phrase. I like it. I'm gonna steal it. Yieldability. Flare has a lot of yieldability. It's probably got the best in the industry right now. By the way, guys, anything offering more than 14% is usually not a good thing. That's not just crypto, by the way. That's anything, like even real estate. If you're being offered more than 14% in yield, there's usually a bad reason for why that's happening. So just be aware. There's a lot. That pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered, right? So you go for the highest yield you can possibly find. You might find that you gave your money to an untrustworthy source that keeps it all. So just be aware of that. Looks like a lot of you guys have to wrap up. I got to wrap up too. I'm going to be doing some research over the weekend, try to knock out a few videos. By the way, I was reached out to by Flare. They got some cool stuff coming my way. So I'll be excited to share that off with you guys. Probably, it might take a week or two to get it. But they're sending me some cool stuff, so. Ooh, welcome DJ. Oh man, we are like quite literally wrapping the stream, but we covered a lot of stuff if you want to watch it in the playback. And I'll be doing a lot more Flare stuff in the very near future. I mean, I'm already doing a lot, but we're going to do even more. Because it sounds like more and more of my content is being watched by the actual Flare team, which I think is pretty sweet. So if you got a good thing, you may as well roll with it. With that said, guys, I'm gonna get my dog out for a little short walk here. He's ready for the outdoors, and it's finally sunny out and more than 10 degrees. So that's, oh wow, it's actually 50. Am I looking at this right? You guys, it's 50 degrees here in Detroit. I'm gonna go walk. I'll see you guys in the next one. And that's awesome, DJ. A lot of different stuff coming at me. I'll look at all this stuff while I'm walking my dog. I'll probably be in the Discord if you guys want to hop in the live chat there. I'll just be chilling, very informal. So those of you guys that have been in the Discord know that when I'm offline, I talk about things the way I really feel about them. If you want to know how I really feel about things, that's a good place to find it. All right, I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.